Things continued to remain extremely and completely miserable and not improved whatsoever for me. Although I'm being extremely and completely authentic on this podcast and speaking the truth of my life, which should have already gotten serious attention and real results, I remain extremely brutally disrespected and neglected and completely deprived of any real or meaningful results whatsoever as I continue to see increasingly unapologetic, vicious conspiracy to murder behavior towards me in public while people blatantly know I don't want or deserve it, as I'm literally shivering at night, sleeping on the streets, homeless, and eating out of the garbage as winter approaches. Before I continue, I'd like to reiterate that this release, along with every other release on this podcast, is not and never has been sponsored at all by anyone or anything. To this day, I have not gained any money or other compensation or reward whatsoever from anything I've released on this podcast or any of my efforts in general. Throughout the last nearly 8 years, I've been extensively communicating with Kimmy and what grew over time to eventually become also everyone else on my mailing list, neither directly nor indirectly. I literally have not been compensated whatsoever by anyone or anything at all for what I've spent the vast majority of my time and energy putting an immense amount of work into for the last nearly 8 years of my life, and what I've been repeatedly saying has been first and foremost an effort pursuing a certain kind of connection with Kimmy. Since it's come to this, I decided to take a look back at one of Kimmy's streams she did about a couple weeks ago that, if I'm being meticulous, I guess I didn't really address properly. Here's another montage to immortalize irrefutable evidence of what I'm talking about so people can't try to make me seem crazy or deny things or warp the meaning behind what I'm doing.
My Halloween costume this year is a cat. Nothing too crazy. I thought it was suitable because of how I want to be a cat so badly. While we wait for people to trickle in, I will just drink some water. Look at how satisfying this cup is. I am oddly a really big fan of cups that have straight sides because it just looks so aesthetic. This is gonna sound so random, but I really don't like cups that like flare outwards as much as I do straight cups. It's so random. I don't know why they make every single glass flare out though. It's probably to make it easier to stack them. And I am a little bit extra, so I turned off my ice machine and I use ice trays to make my own ice because I like making my ice out of my own purified water. So I have the most clean, crystal clear water drinking experience. I just really don't like water that tastes like refrigerator. So I'd rather make my own ice. Are you guys all ready for some ASMR today? Are you guys in need of some winding down? Am I centered? Let me check if I'm centered. Okay, I think I must have this perfect. My OCD, I must have this to be perfect. Must have this to be perfect. I will say I have been investing so much money into this candle making hobby. I've easily already dropped like over $1,000. brush to make like a really cool sound, but I never knew how they did it. I don't know how. I want to make the tingly sounds. I don't know how to use you. How do I use you? I feel like I'm so close. I'm so close. But I'm just happy I found out how to do this trigger. I will say, I played piano for 10 years, and I played viola, bass clarinet, and flute. So, this does make me feel very nostalgic when it comes to instruments. Oh, I also played the ukulele for a little bit. I would be a show-off if I continued, but I quit. I quit all my instruments. As we all do. Yeah, now I play the wooden spoon. I've always really loved music. It's true, music is a really great way to express emotions. Maybe that's why I've become dead inside. I'm kidding. Just kidding. Okay, let me pull out these little pins. Your acupuncture. Has anybody here actually tried acupuncture? I think I would need acupuncture for my fear of acupuncture. I would be too stressed out getting needles stuck in me. I don't like needles either. I actually don't mind needles though. I think it's the thought of a lot of needles in my body that stresses me out. But like getting shots or getting my blood drawn, like I'm not really scared of that. Like that doesn't really hurt. Because logically, I just like pinch myself. Or I even like press my nail into my skin. And I'm like, realistically, this hurts more than a shot. My own nail hurts way more than a shot. So I logic it out in my head. So that's how I don't really like needles or whatever to me. But it's like a lot of needles. That is what grosses me out. I'm like, no. I saw that YouTube is getting rid of the ear eating ASMR videos now. I actually enjoyed some ASMR artists who did ear eating. 6. And yeah, that, the end. Good morning. Glad you woke up. Yeah, also, One Piece is, One Piece is finished, and, spoiler alert, One Piece is, wait, you guys still don't know what One Piece is? Are you serious? You guys still don't know what it is? I mean, like, I've never watched One Piece, but it's been like over 1,000 episodes, and okay, I was gonna say, if you went 1,000 episodes without even knowing what a One Piece is, then bro, that anime has you guys in a chokehold. Honestly, I feel like One Piece fans are like victim of the sunk cost fallacy. You just invested so much time and energy and emotions into this anime that lasted 20 years. You're just so invested. You guys are just victims at this point. I don't even blame you guys. I don't blame you. But at least, yes, it is that one show that never ends. It's like the one relationship that never breaks up with you. One Piece will just never end, ever. Y'all have a codependent relationship with One Piece. I keep trying to watch One Piece. I keep trying. Oh gosh, I keep failing. I don't get very far. If anything, I wish Naruto never ended. I was really happy with the ending of Naruto, but I remember there was a void in my life, and I just missed the Naruto characters. I missed them. They were like my friends. I had a parasocial relationship with the Naruto characters. Unfortunately, my cat does not give me kisses. Sometimes she'll lick me, actually. Sometimes. Okay, you know what's actually like really ironic? So, since I yap a lot, I like watching ASMR artists who don't yap. Does that make sense? I feel like there's so much yapping in my head that if I listen to somebody else yapping, like, actually, I have to be in the mood to listen to yapping. So when I'm in the mood to listen to yapping, then I'll listen to yapping ASMR. But I'd say like 70% of the time I listen to ASMR, it's non-yapping. But I totally get the appeal of yapping ASMR, because there's something so comforting about just hearing someone yap about things. It sometimes, when I get really existential and I feel like I'm the only person in the world alive and everything's meaningless, I like listening to yapping ASMR because they remind me that other people exist out there and life isn't that bad, and it calms me a lot in those existential moments. So, in that sense, I think yapping ASMR, like, I find a lot of meaning in yapping ASMR because it's like
Does Kimmy saying she wants to be a cat so badly mean she doesn't want to kiss her partner much, if at all, and wants to lick them sometimes? Since she says Snowball never kisses her and sometimes licks her? Or is she just saying she'd like to be able to spend most of her time just relaxing, eating, leisurely moving around her home with no particular need to do anything and being tenderly caressed by her owner? Perhaps she's saying this to appease others in her life because it does not, never did, and never will appease me for Kimmy to want to be or behave particularly like a cat. While I wouldn't demand she kisses me often, I'd certainly hope she'd enjoy kissing me at least sometimes, and I'd certainly have no issue with it if she wants to kiss me often either. I do not have and have never had and likely never will have any fixation with being licked by anyone, and while I wouldn't be terribly against Kimmy licking me, it's not like I'd particularly want or enjoy it. I have no issue with Kimmy spending much of her time relaxing, enjoying eating food, and staying at home, and I've been trying to spend a lot of time with her that way, and of course I'd love to tenderly caress her and cuddle with her often. If this is what she means, then that's great. I do not, never have, and never will have any fixation on her or anyone else seeing me as her owner, but I'm not going to throw away being with her if she for some reason feels compelled to see me that way or something like that. I'd like a clear explanation on it from her directly, personally, in private, to establish she can't see it as me consenting to any weird things with it, but I don't inherently have some huge issue with it. So if Kimmy was trying to point out some kind of incompatibility between us by saying she wants to be a cat so badly, I want it to be extremely clear that she's very much wrong. I have no inherent issue with cats, nor girls who love cats. I never have, and I have no particularly good reason to believe I ever will. I am not and never have been allergic to cats or girls who love cats either. If Kimmy wants to hear me make cat noises, she can tell me that after contacting me directly and being loving and showing me she's serious about embracing the kind of connection I've been saying I want and deserve to have with her. Otherwise, I have no good reason to do so. I certainly have no particular want or need to appeal to a general audience of people who love cats or people who behave like cats. Kimmy has had strange dialogue around cups and ice multiple times now, and I don't know why. I don't know what it means, but it doesn't appease me or force me to shut up or change my position or offer anyone any leverage over me. I myself do not have and have never had any particular fixation on the shape or size of cups, nor any particular fixation with ice. Kimmy further suggests her viewers being in need of winding down, which I'm well aware is a common expression for relaxing. While I imagine many of the people that consume her content are indeed seeking it to help them relax, and there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself, I'd like to reiterate that I very much meant it when I said I haven't been able to relax at all while consuming any of Kimmy's content for many years now. Further, usage of different expressions or metaphors or rhetorical devices expressing the general notion of relaxation all fall equally under this umbrella of Kimmy's content failing to achieve such an effect in my life. Kimmy mentioned having OCD, so yet another mental illness among the multiples she's already openly admitted to having. Meanwhile, I still claim absolutely no mental illness whatsoever, and my behavior only continues to further provide evidence of the reality being as such. It objectively makes less and less sense for anyone to believe I'd ever behave in extremely stupid or out of touch seeming ways, especially without some kind of good reason I'm able to at least reasonably clearly articulate if necessary. With the way Kimmy talked about having no boundaries when she ADHDs, as if having mental illness is an action in and of itself, it appears Kimmy uses claims of having ADHD to mask intentionally malicious behavior that violates others' boundaries. Let the record show I don't even attempt to justify any questionable behavior from myself through any claims of mental illness, but rather boldly, extremely clearly explain and regularly provide at the very least reasonably solid evidence of objectively sound reasoning for my behavior that demonstrates lack of immorality as the foundation for it. Let the record show the immense contrast between my behavior and Kimmy's behavior in this regard. I find it rather strange that Kimmy supposedly doesn't want to sell candles to the public, but wants to sell to viewers of her stream. This further indicates extremely shady activity from her serves as the foundation for this whole strange sudden obsession with candles that she's recently developed. I'd like to once again reiterate that I will never be buying or accepting candles from Kimmy, with this conflict being as it is, and it does not, never did, and never will matter whether or not she embraces selling her candles to a broader audience. Kimmy's been talking about her nails so much these days. I've extremely closely followed her content for many years, and she normally rarely talks about her nails, but she's mentioned them several times just in the last, couple months. If there's some hidden meaning behind it, I don't know what it is. Regardless, I'd like to reiterate that nothing Kimmy or anyone else does to their nails appeases me, forces me to shut up, changes my position, or offers anyone any leverage over me. I also don't know why Kimmy's nails would be weak these days. Is she not getting enough calcium in her diet or something? Since nailing is an expression that some use to refer to having sex, I feel compelled to mention that if this was some weird way of talking about her sex life and she was saying she hasn't been able to enjoy sex much recently, well, that's not my problem. I can literally count on my fingers the amount of times I've had sex in my entire life, and it was never even once with Kimmy. I've never had sex frequently at any point in my life, and I haven't had sex at all in a long time, and Kimmy certainly hasn't been doing anything to make that non-existent sex, or the lack thereof, more enjoyable. The only person I even want sexual intimacy of any kind with ever again is her, and she's brutally completely denying me of that. So, honestly, I hope her sex life only gets more miserable and lacking the more she wants to be, or for whatever reason continues to be so horrible to me. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's absolutely nothing Kimmy or anyone else can ever use to make ASMR that ever appeases me or forces me to shut up or change my position or offers anyone any leverage over me. It doesn't matter when or how or why they believe themselves to attempt it, or what platform they might have seen similar ASMR from, or any other factors surrounding it. Like I've said, no kind or amount of anyone making any kind of ASMR ever gives anyone any leverage over me or changes my position or appeases me at all. Like I said, there's absolutely nothing Kimmy or anyone can ever do, even in content in general, that suddenly resolves this conflict, nor that ever forces me to shut up or change my position or offers anyone any leverage over me. Even Kimmy suddenly randomly publicly confessing feelings for me isn't okay. If she really has feelings and is willing to have a proper connection with me how I want and deserve, she should be directly communicating with me privately first by contacting me through one of the ways my podcast's YouTube channel lists as officially owned by me, perhaps ideally Discord DMs, and we should be having proper, open, honest discussion between us and perhaps anyone else we agree we need to talk to about things, and planning things so we're both comfortable with how things progress. It should be rather obvious I'm not trying to pressure Kimmy to send me nudes or say or do anything privately that makes her really uncomfortable in a way that puts her in a really vulnerable situation. I could perhaps attempt to exert that kind of influence on her given the amount of power over her I have, but then I'd be compromising the sincerity of the connection and my ability to have an actually healthy and lasting connection with her of the kind I've been saying I've always been after. As far as that goes, I'm publicly stating I have no want, need, or intent to behave that way, so while she might feel she has reason to worry, I've already given her as much reassurance as I could ever reasonably be expected to give her that I won't abuse whatever power I have over her. I didn't know Kimmy played piano for 10 years. She played piano for 10 years? It's the first I've heard of that. I just heard of her being in band in high school, and I don't know why she said everyone quits playing instruments because a lot of people play music throughout their lives. And I don't know why Kimmy said she thinks she's become dead inside because she stopped playing instruments. It's the first I've heard Kimmy express such things, but at least I now have evidence of her basically blatantly admitting she's heartless. I myself most certainly am not dead inside, and it has nothing to do with playing or not playing any musical instruments. I never wanted Kimmy to feel or be dead inside, but I'm pretty sure she was already feeling that way before she even knew I exist. I was always hoping she'd feel really happy being with me and wouldn't rather be with anyone else the way I imagined she'd make me feel if we were together. I already can't see anyone I'd rather be with, although there are certainly things Kimmy's said and done that concern me and that I need much more clear communication from her about, privately and perhaps eventually publicly. I also don't have a problem with her feeling similarly towards me. I don't know why Kimmy thought using glittery or shiny pins for ASMR makes a difference when I already said using pins in ASMR doesn't appease me or force me to shut up or change my position or offers anyone any leverage over me. It doesn't matter whether the pins have glitter or are shiny at all or not. I found it quite strange that Kimmy again mentioned acupuncture. She made it rather clear she'd be afraid of it. But that was never something that mattered to me, and it really doesn't force me to shut up or change my position or offer anyone any leverage over me, regardless of if Kimmy or anyone else ever does acupuncture or not, or how they feel about it. I feel compelled to mention that I've never listened to ear-eating ASMR. I have no particular interest in it or intent to start listening to it. I never have. I'm not particularly disturbed or put off about Kimmy liking it either, though. Kimmy did this weird thing saying she's hypnotizing her viewers, and it made me feel compelled to mention that I have not been hypnotized, nor do I consent to being hypnotized by Kimmy or anyone or anything else, nor do I consent to Kimmy or anyone or anything else attempting to hypnotize me. Also, I seriously am not, never have been, and never will be attempting to empower, facilitate, encourage, or validate Kimmy being or presenting herself as a witch for any reason. It seems weird and unnecessary to me, and I can't really imagine it has a positive impact on my life. I found it extremely unsettling how Kimmy said her one goal on the stream was to not have any loud noises, but there was a loud noise at one point, pretty much immediately after which she proceeds to say some extremely strange stuff about her viewers being in a coma and the year suddenly being 2026 and them winning the lottery and all their problems being solved and their lives being amazing. There is so much wrong with that to me. The year 2026 has absolutely no particular significance to me, and I most certainly do not, never have, and never will consent to anyone trying to force me to wait until then for this perpetual sheer hellish nightmare of nightmares being inflicted on me to end. I most certainly will not be continuing to struggle like this for the next year or more, constantly refuting a bunch of ridiculous, blatantly false garbage while being insanely disrespected and neglected by everyone at all important to me. Also, I am not and never have been and most likely never will be trying to or particularly interested in winning the lottery. Literally no amount of money ever would solve my biggest problem of all if Kimmy won't directly contact me in the very near future and embrace the kind of connection I've been saying I always want with her. Not only have I never even bought a lottery ticket in my life, and I have no intention to, but in fact, it'd specifically ruin my life if I won the lottery without having the connection I want with Kimmy first, because then I'd know for sure that while she probably would be with me at that point if I really wanted, it absolutely must be in reality just for the money and possible clout, and definitely not because she actually loves me or actually enjoys any intimacy between us for good reasons. The anime or show or whatever you want to call it of One Piece literally has absolutely no particularly significant meaning in my life. It never has, and I highly doubt it ever will. People seem to have some extremely strange fixation on it for some reason in more recent months, though, and I really don't know why. I most certainly don't have a codependent relationship with it. I never have, and I highly doubt I ever will. Kimmy said, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Is she saying this to imply that the kind of connection I've been saying I want with her is already there, but it just hasn't materialized? She appears to be trying to be comforting and saying happy moments will happen and whatnot, but is she actually accepting my feelings or just trying to pressure me to try to find happiness while being deprived of the connection I've been saying I've been after having with her? I don't want people to get too hung up on specific word choice if me saying I want a certain connection with Kimmy leaves too much room for people to try to act like my desire means I've been fake somehow and sabotaged myself. I'm not being fake about anything I'm saying on this podcast, and I haven't sabotaged myself, nor do I have any want, need, or intend to ever do so. The specifics of the connection I've been after with Kimmy involves frequent in-person physical sexual intimacy between the two of us. That most certainly is not the reality I'm currently experiencing. Therefore, it's objectively much more accurate to classify that as a want and not what I already have. Perhaps the foundation for the emotional connection that would lead to the life I want with her is already there, but I'm describing what I want to materialize as a whole when I talk about the connection I want with her, not just any individual aspect. Of course, the foundation has to be there for the physical stuff to come together to form the totality of the connection I've been after. I've never been denying that I've laid that foundation and continue to only be doing my very best to attempt to fortify it. The issue I'm so extremely clearly trying to expose is that I could try my absolute hardest to set the best possible foundation, like I have, and yet if Kimmy's so extremely resistant to it like she is, then even though it's not and never has been my fault whatsoever, any meaningful or healthy connection between us will still always end up being a catastrophic failure. I find it concerning that there's possibly implications that being comfy or cozy, and perhaps especially someone that makes Kimmy feel that way around them, inspires cuteness aggression in Kimmy that gives her impulsiveness to strangle and possibly suffocate someone or something. I do not and never have felt cuteness aggression, and I do not want to strangle or suffocate Kimmy, nor do I want to be strangled or suffocated by Kimmy. I don't feel aggression towards things I find cute in general. Also, I find Kimmy to be a really good balance of both cute and sexy, not just cute. I should perhaps also mention that I also don't feel sexiness aggression either, in case that's relevant. I've been pretty harsh towards Kimmy on this podcast, and I still believe rightfully so. But I want it to be extremely clear that I've never had an inherent issue with Kimmy feeling safe. But I will always have an issue with Kimmy trying to feel safe, being extremely malicious and cruel towards me, especially with doing something like conspiring and or attempting to murder me somehow. She should not be or feel safe abusing me, and certainly not in literally trying to end my life in real life. And I've never expected to be or feel safe treating her like that either. So it's not like I'm saying that to be abusive or unfair somehow. Beyond that, if she'll actually treat me properly, I have no issue with her being or feeling lucky to be the person I feel the way I do about her. I'd feel lucky to have her in my life too in that case. And now I'll just put another montage of Kimmy's stream after my last release on this podcast.
Today, I usually start about an hour and a half ago. I was out all day today, and I had to take a little nap before I streamed, or it wasn't really a nap, but I do this thing where after I'm out I used to just take naps, but I actually don't even need a nap. I just need to lay in bed and go on my phone and do like really, I need to do very just like relaxing things on my phone. So, no emails, no work. I just have to lay in bed, go on my phone, and okay, so I'm weird because for me, relaxing my brain means learning things. I love learning things in the comfort of my own peace. You know what I mean? So I'll lay in bed and I will just start researching random things. Watch YouTube videos about life. I just want to talk to you guys. Like when I start my stream, I just want to talk to you guys. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so, okay, so I'm at the point in my life where I have the option to sit with my thoughts and meditate and center myself and allow myself to sit with all of my thoughts and feelings and emotions and to process everything as they come and go and to be zen. And I have the ability to do that. But that is a lot of effort and I get lazy. So sometimes whenever my brain is filled with a lot of thoughts that shouldn't be there, I'm like, I'm too fucking lazy to meditate right now. I'm too lazy. I'd rather just turn on the TV. I'd rather just turn on some music. I'd rather just play Hearthstone Battlegrounds. I will meditate later. I will deal with these thoughts another time. Not today. So, these days, I have been just saving the thoughts and all that stuff for times where I meditate. So, I try to meditate at least once every day, either when I wake up or before I go to sleep, and that helps me a lot. I think just carving out a time for you to meditate makes the rest of your day easier, because then if you ever have a scary thought, you can just be like, I'll save this thought for when I meditate later. And then you can just ignore that for now. I don't know if that's the healthiest thing to do, but it's been working for me. But yeah, meditation, it takes a lot of consistency, but it is super worth it. And it gets easier and easier and easier. But it can be a little bit hard to begin meditating because you don't really know what you're doing. Or for me at least, when I started meditating, I didn't really know what was supposed to be happening. So I was just sitting there very uncomfortable. Like, what's going on? But it gets better. It really gets better. It gets better. Do you still go to the gym? You seem puffy. What the fuck? First of all, I do work out still. Second of all, that's rude. You freaking seem puffy. Your mom seems puffy. But have I been eating more sodium these days? Probably yes. I could have said fat. I thought puffy is... Bro, it's the intention. You don't... Oh my god. Bro, what? You don't just go up to someone and say, have you been working out still? You seem fatter. What is your problem? Are you okay? Are you okay, dude? Oh my god, what is your fucking problem? Bro, permaban that guy. Oh my god. I hope your life gets better, my dude. Because all I know is that if you're happy in your life, you never say that to somebody. If you're happy in your own life, if you're happy with yourself, you never say that to somebody. That is so disrespectful, and that is so immature, and that is so gross. I do not claim that energy. Oh my gosh. So you know what? I'm not even mad at you. I just hope things get better in your life, dude. And think before you do that again. That is not how you make friends in this world. Oh gosh. Anyway, sorry for that rant. Well, not even sorry for it. Because this is my motherfucking stream, and if somebody is being a little weenie, then I will ban his ass. I'm not even sorry. Kimmy in the past used to be sorry, but Kimmy now is not sorry. That is just a little update on my candle making hobby. My little candle making journey. I literally, okay, you know, like when you smell pizza, you feel a certain type of way. You like, it makes you, like when you smell pizza, it just smells so delicious. It's kind of like that. So imagine if it's like you're smelling pizza. Like pizza is kind of a central scent, right? I don't know how to explain it. But yeah. 1 second. I also wanted to show you. Sorry, this is just like a little yap session about my current hobby. My little yap session. Candles and yap. Warming you guys up to my ASMR Monday right now. I want to be as passionate about something like giving us other candles. Guys, I think you guys know me. You guys have known me for the past 10 years. Like, you know how mentally ill I have been for a lot of the years. In my 20s especially. I like really struggled in life. So anything that helps people feel more at ease makes me really passionate, because back in my darkest times in life, I relied on those people a lot, the people who just made me feel comfortable and at ease. Like, I appreciated those people so much. So anything that allows me to like help people feel better makes me feel so happy. So I think that's why I'm like so passionate about like ASMR and candles, because it makes people feel better. I was thinking about this, and I was like, I lost my train of thought. I was thinking about this. What was I thinking? Oh yeah, I was like, what's like a good time to me? It's because I was hanging out with Jamie and Jess today. I spent all day hanging out with Jamie and Jess. We went to an event together, and then we got some food and went shopping. And they really like going out and partying and hanging out and stuff. But now I'm just like, dude, the fact that I can just like chill and not worry about having responsibilities like that, just enjoying some peace and quiet, that sounds like a good time. So, yeah, I'm not really a big drinker. I get high on life. I do want to make a one-lifer with Janet in GTA. So I think that is my next gaming session that I have planned at least. Or, well, I didn't plan it yet, but what games have you guys been playing? If you guys have been playing any games, have you guys been playing anything? Like, I'm so curious to know what you guys do. Like, does my chat still play games? I know that I don't play as many games these days, but do you guys still play games? I'm so curious. Or do you guys like watching me because you guys are more into like IRL stuff in life and less about games? Or maybe a bit of both. I honestly wish that a part of me wishes that I could have just done gaming my entire time. And like, I feel like my brand would be a lot less confusing. But I can't help it, like, I go where my interests go. And I think it makes for a lot of confused people. They're like, what the heck is Kimmy up to? What is she doing now even? What is Kimmy doing? But I don't know, I kind of like that though. I find it fun. I want the $10,000 mic head, like the actual head. That's what I want. Oh my gosh. But that is $10,000. And I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to get that. $10,000. Well, I'll have you guys know. I have a P.O. box, so if anybody would like to send it to me, maybe if you know, have one lying around, or if you work at Newman and you get them for free, or you have a discount, or if you want to be my sugar daddy or my oiler. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you how happy it would make me if you bought me a Newman $10,000 ASMR dummy head, and it won't even make only me happy, it'll make many people happy. Think about all the ASMR I can do for you guys. Help me, help you. Send me the $10,000 mic. you're dating somebody who is toxic to you. So you just have to break up with them instead of trying to change to make it work. So, wise words from Kimi. But that being said, I still really like playing League of Legends, and especially ARAM with friends. Oh my god, ARAM is so much fun. I love ARAM. Is this just a whispered gaslight to pretend that your League of Legends racing was because of other people? It was not because of other people, it was because of League of Legends. Solo queue was just really toxic to me. So, I peaced out. That's kind of how I operate in life. If something is toxic, I just peace out. I don't even say anything. I just jellyfish away. Goodbye. Ooh, I'll be over here. I don't know, I think a lot of toxic people in life, they don't really care about you very much, so they don't care if you randomly disappear, they'll just find another target. So, that's what I learned. I don't even like talking or like dealing with toxic people. I just disappear and they don't even notice I'm gone. They're like, okay, gotta find a new victim. But like, I'm also at the point where I think that just because something's toxic to you doesn't mean that it's toxic to someone else. So someone could be like a shit person to you, but they could be an amazing person to someone else. Like, not everyone is meant to be with everyone, and not every game is meant to be played by everyone. So there are a lot of people who can play League of Legends solo queue and have a grand old healthy happy time. But League of Legends solo queue and Kimi are not as compatible. My talents. My god, would you say that these things are like talents? Would you say I am a talented person? Oh my god, I never thought of myself as talented. Wait, really? You guys think I'm talented? Oh, that's so cool. When I was in school, I never considered myself as talented. But I've always been drawn to being talented. Like, getting better at things makes me feel so turned on. I'm gonna be so honest. I fucking love getting better at things because I think it's like so attractive to me. I'm gonna be so for real. And literally, what is
I really don't know what kind of life Kimmy's living that her idea of relaxing is actively putting in energy into learning things, but that sounds extremely exhausting. I most certainly have not been trying to have that kind of effect on her life, but I imagine her extremely toxic, unhinged, abusive, neglectful attitude towards me all these years is only going to continue to exacerbate that kind of distress-filled existence Kimmy is causing herself in being how she's being. I find Kimmy's explanation of her meditating to also be extremely strange. Meditating isn't supposed to be something exhausting that you can be lazy to do. That's a rather strange idea of meditation. If anything, meditation should be something you're inclined towards doing if you feel too lazy to do other things. If Kimmy's trying to act like I've been trying to guide her to some kind of idea of meditation that makes her uncomfortable and that she wants to avoid, and then try to abusively reframe how I've treated her so she basically makes me seem toxic or abusive or out of touch somehow in saying such things, then I want it to be extremely clear that she is massively lying and misrepresenting me, and that kind of narrative she's potentially trying to paint behind the scenes is in reality completely false. And then there's that comment some random person made of Kimmy seeming puffy and asking if she still goes to the gym. Kimmy doesn't look fatter to me at all. She looks just as incomparably physically attractive as she always has since the beginning to me, and I've never been trying to pressure her to go to the gym. I really don't want to seem out of touch or as if I'm trying to be creepy or enjoying making anyone uncomfortable, but although I don't want to repeatedly state it publicly for what should be obvious reasons, I still fantasize about Kimmy sexually daily and only crave sexual intimacy with her in person more, and I remain just as certain that there's nobody else I'll ever be even remotely as interested in engaging in physical sexual activities with than her for the rest of my life. Despite how brutal my circumstances are, my feelings for her really are that strong and intense and sincere, and I continue to only fantasize tender, warm, loving things I've always wanted to do with her in person. I do not encourage, endorse, support, validate, approve of, or at all consent to people leaving messages like that in Kimmy's Twitch chat, at least certainly if there's any kind of narratives that it's me or someone operating with my consent or in my best interests in doing so. Kimmy can say she doesn't claim that energy all she wants, but I don't claim that energy either. I never did. If I'm gonna be mean, I'm going to be all out aggressively mean and say things like people are narcissist, psychopath, fraud, pieces of garbage, and I'm going to back it up with at least some kind of evidence the person deserves it, and I'm going to do it in a powerful and mature way like I am on this podcast, not some extremely weak, strange, pathetic thing like what happened there in Kimmy's Twitch chat. I do not and never have desperately needed Kimmy's or any of her associates' friendship, nor am I so out of touch I deserve to not have friends in general. Kimmy abuses her Twitch streams to try to achieve trapping me into having such effects inflicted on my life, and there's absolutely no real evidence to prove otherwise. Again, that person she was responding to there is not me. I don't know who it was, and I don't claim that energy. But in case Kimmy thinks I want or need her to simply be publicly saying she hopes my life gets better, or something along those lines, I want it to be extremely clear that I don't need what becomes a ridiculously pretentious, patronizing attitude from her or anyone else. I'm also most certainly not going to allow Kimmy or anyone else to try to act like they were showing me supposed kindness with such comments, most of which I won't even catch if they're happening because I'm simply not paying attention at a time people are probably trying to act like I desperately need it to once again try to position themselves to be able to later force some kind of ridiculous codependent friendship and or some very much in reality unfair and imbalanced romantic relationship on me. Let's assume whoever that person was is either someone acting on Kimmy to expose Kimmy's own insecurities she wants to see my response to learning of, or a past romantic partner of Kimmy's that's jealous that I'm better suited to be with Kimmy. If Kimmy communicated with me properly from the beginning and told me what kind of massive lies about me were being purported by toxic pieces of trash from my past, I never would have even had reason to be publicly confrontational with her in ways she's been extremely deviously abusing for many years to try to make me seem like I'm just a troubled, problematic person, which any potential previous romantic partners of hers obviously would try to take advantage of as much as possible. She was the one being toxic, problematic, and communicating poorly towards me and blaming me for it all, while lying that she's supposedly single and not seriously romantically involved with anyone, when I've seen considerable reason to believe the reality is otherwise is true. What I consider a more plausible explanation is that this energy came from the same massive narcissist, psychopath, worthless piece of trash, loser, racist, who started a massive smear campaign against me since high school because she's just that horrible. She's probably trying to act like I'm some prick that was making fun of her for her weight or something. Completely false. She was literally the only person I ever actually asked out in all of high school, so it would have been abundantly apparent to her that I found her exceptionally physically attractive and wasn't trying to make her insecure about her weight. From what I know, she's gained a ton of weight since high school, and I mean a lot more than like 50 pounds. But I guess that's what happens when you're an insufferable, racist, narcissist psychopath that extremely brutally rejects someone who genuinely cared about you all along while you just wanted to get extremely disgusting, sadistic satisfaction off of entirely non-consensually trying to ruin their sex drive and life the moment you learn they have feelings for you. I'm not pushing her away because she gained weight. I'm pushing her away because she's genuinely been so unbelievably, exceedingly, absolutely, unconditionally, unacceptably horrible to me from the very beginning that if she had been even remotely actually decent or kind or helpful to me ever, she never would have ended up so miserable that she ended up likely developing an eating disorder and gaining so much weight over the years. I found it exceptionally strange that Kimmy said pizza is a sensual scent. No, it's not really a sensual scent. A lot of people might not draw the connection I'm about to make, or might think I'm being delusional or overthinking it. But in fact, strange mention of pizza, particularly by highly influential entities, tends to be linked to pedophilia and or other serious criminal acts. This is because of P. Diddy mentioning pizza boxes he told his people to make sure were cleaned up after he got arrested on all kinds of craziness that parties he's been said to be heavily involved in have had happening in them, including but not limited to illegal sexual acts with minors that get recorded and whatnot. I'd say Kimmy's mention of pizza, how she did on that recent stream of hers, suggests that she and or someone heavily in her energy has attended such parties and is having pressure exerted to be exposed and cancelled and likely worse. I'd bet it has something to do with the pressure I've been applying to have a proper, actually pleasant and fulfilling connection with Kimmy of the kind I've been after, instead of this miserable, hellish nightmare I've been completely non-consensually subjected to all these years of endless obstacle after obstacle trying to endlessly block me from it. Further, the fact that Kimmy practically directly links that strange mention of pizza to warming people up to her ASMR Mondays to me indicates that her ASMR Mondays likely have a direct link to extremely false narratives trying to justify the extreme abuse and neglect towards me by falsely claiming I'm a pedophile or have ever engaged in any kind of pedophilia and or other serious crimes. I have never attended any of P. Diddy's parties or any similar party, and absolutely nobody has any real evidence of me ever engaging in any kind of sexual acts with anyone underage, or any other serious criminal activity for that matter. I also to this day have never even once had anyone actually clearly communicate to me they even seriously have good reason to suspect otherwise is true. And just to be clear, this isn't me hating on the actual food pizza for what it is in and of itself. I'm addressing potential extremely strange, likely highly politically involved narratives behind the scenes that are completely non-consensually likely having extremely negative influence on my efforts on this podcast. Neither Kimmy's ASMR nor her candles at all make me feel better ever. They never have, and the way I'm being treated, they never will. I'm literally just having to watch her constantly grow and benefit as she repeatedly, blatantly even admits she's been extremely mentally ill and dependent on others that provide her comfort and attention and love, while I remain increasingly brutally neglected and disrespected and shivering, sleeping on the streets and eating out of the garbage and feeling extremely unloved and unwanted and wronged by everyone at all really significant or close to me in my life. It's not that I'm jealous of Kimmy prospering. My issue is that she's viciously, knowingly taking advantage of my genuine feelings for her and trying to prosper at my expense, and obviously as such against my consent. I'm constantly being attacked, and people are basically trying to tell me to literally kill myself for having actual self-respect and self-love and real principles and authenticity. And to those people, I say no, you kill yourself, you piece of trash. No matter who is trying to extremely negatively influence me in such a manner or why, I know I don't want or deserve to be treated that way, and it's not a true reflection of how I actually deserve to be treated with the kind of energy I've actually been putting out into the world all along and to this day. It's not fair or even remotely reasonable to attempt to constantly bring up being mentally ill as basically an excuse to try to avoid any real accountability or negative consequences for exceedingly unacceptable negative attitudes and behavior that cause extreme harm in others' lives. It's far from the first time I've said this. I will never tolerate Kimmy or anyone else trying to justify treating me horribly, especially doing something like conspiring or attempting to murder me in real life because they have mental illness. Especially when the essential behavior harming me is literally just completely unapologetically continued and absolutely zero real accountability is taken and absolutely zero real and actually meaningful corrective action to fix the immense harm has been taken. Making goddamn candles and ASMR and doing whatever the hell Kimmy does on stream doesn't do anything beneficial for me whatsoever and doesn't even slightly correct or alleviate the immense harm she's caused me. I feel compelled to once again mention that neither Jamie nor Jessica have any leverage over me whatsoever. They never have, and absolutely nothing I'm doing or plan on doing will change that. I've already extremely clearly stated my lack of romantic and or sexual involvement with either of them, and my lack of desire or intent towards such at any point in the future. I have no responsibilities I have to worry about either, but unlike Kimmy, I didn't repeatedly massively betray, abuse, disrespect, abandon, attempt to murder, and to this day continue lying massively about being an extremely abusive narcissist to someone that poured immense time and energy and love into me to massively help me achieve a position of success in life. From the way Kimmy casually describes what she considers a good time and how she's just trying to make herself seem good and innocent and perhaps even compatible with the life I'd want with her, while in reality she seems to be doing everything in her power to deny me of it, it seems Kimmy just wants to make it abundantly, exceedingly, blatantly, unapologetically clear that she does not, never really has, and never really will consider it even remotely actually a responsibility of hers, even as a prominent internet influencer, to be an even remotely decent human being to me. Let the record show this was her attitude in this conflict at this point in time, so when extremely negative things start happening to her and those associated with her for treating me like this, nobody can try to act like they don't all completely deserve it. I don't know why Kimmy's talking about starting a One Life character in Grand Theft Auto with Janet, but that certainly does not and will never resolve this conflict. It doesn't appease me or force me to shut up or change my position or offer anyone any leverage over me. I still do not have any want, need, or willingness to engage with anyone on NoPixel. Whether or not Kimmy and or Janet start One Life characters or new characters in general, or play any of their existing characters at all, this should have already been implied and obvious by what I've been saying, and anyone at all attempting to communicate otherwise is lying and is operating against my consent, wishes, and best interests, and should not be trusted or entertained in what they're doing or trying to achieve with such things. Kimmy asks again what people do with their time these days, this time specifically if people still play games or focus more on stuff in real life. She asked it of her chat, and as I've said before, I am not in her chat and have not participated in it or considered myself a part of it in many years, because I have no interest in trying to force myself where I feel so brutally wronged and unloved and unwanted, and in fact quite extremely hated and abused. But I provide my perspective on such statements at times anyways, because I know that it's likely relevant and necessary in order to diffuse massive false narratives Kimmy and others purport about me to try to sabotage my life with their smear campaigns. I can still appreciate video games and do things relevant to my video game development. In the vast majority of times, I play any video games these days, but that's entirely irrelevant to this conflict ever being resolved, because I am not and never have been seeking help in that regard from Kimmy or any of her associates or anyone else in what I'm doing here. I've stated my intent with this podcast and my efforts the last roughly 8 years leading up to it extremely clearly. What I'm most interested in, and was most interested in from the very beginning is having Kimmy's incomparably sexy, absolutely perfect butt rubbing up against me for many hours every day for the rest of eternity. Preferably often in classy latex clothing of some kind, ideally extremely glossy black latex leggings. In real life, in case it wasn't obvious enough, that's what I've meant every time I've ever said that or anything else of my sexual desires for Kimmy. I've never watched Kimmy, particularly because of her playing any video game or not. I already knew I was going to go places in the world before I even met her, and I saw her as serious life partner material from the very beginning, since I was looking for someone I wanted to spend my life with, to build a connection with, before I become wildly professionally successful with or without anyone else's help. I fell in love with her the day I met her at that Toronto meetup, which was almost 8 years ago now. I didn't fall in love with her in a video game, nor for her skills at playing video games. I like that she enjoys playing video games, but it doesn't and never mattered to me if she's ever particularly good at any of them or not. Kimmy's blatantly admitted that she's confused about what she's doing right now with candles, and perhaps even more confused about what's next. Well, let me tell you what's next. Either she's going to seriously sober up to reality and start directly communicating with me, practically begging to start being drastically better to me in every manner, fly out to Toronto specifically to meet me and hang out and get closer with each other, and likely not very long thereafter start officially dating me and treating me so much better than she ever has treated me or anyone else she's ever dated in every possible way, forever moving forward. Or she's going to end up with her life absolutely destroyed privately and publicly for being an extremely narcissistic psychopath, and possibly even going to end up exposed for doing something disgusting and perverted with someone underage, and will end up brutally permanently cancelled with her life destroyed beyond any capability for redemption, especially hard. That's what's next for her, because this whole candle thing was never even supposed to happen. She was never supposed to screw around with dating anyone in Grand Theft Auto. She was supposed to communicate with me properly, directly, and start dating me in real life long ago. But no, she had to do this unhinged, mentally ill insanity instead. So I'm seriously out of patience for this lunatic with a death wish and zero sanity and zero decency and zero respect for me. Kimmy had really weird discussion of microphone heads and talked about wanting one that costs $10,000. It made me feel compelled to mention that I do not, never have, and never will consent to Kimmy giving out sexual favors for money, whether or not they have some kind of involvement with her ASMR content creation. I most certainly am not, never have been, and never will be attempting to facilitate Kimmy giving sexual favors to other people, entirely regardless of the reason. I myself have not been attempting to get facilitated in giving or receiving sexual favors to or from others through Kimmy, or anyone else for that matter. These things will never change, even in a situation where Kimmy does have the kind of connection I've always wanted with her. I have no want, need, or intent to send Kimmy anything in the mail, whether it's to a P.O. box or her actual address. I never have, and I can't imagine I ever will. I certainly do not, never have, and never will want, need, or intend to just show up at her apartment or confront her in person, with this conflict being how it is and literally effectively only worsening by the day. Like I said, if people effectively acting like my worst enemies want to continue, I myself will not be the one personally causing physical injury or death to them, and I won't be blatantly calling for others to do so publicly on somewhere like YouTube either, because I know there are much more intelligent and effective ways to go about achieving such a thing, if that's really how things have to be. Kimmy or anyone else sharing any address in public does not, never has, and never will appease me, or force me to shut up, or change my position, or offer anyone any leverage over me. I will not be sending Kimmy or anyone else anything in the mail. Absolutely nobody has any even remotely actually good reason to ever believe otherwise. I certainly don't want or enjoy Kimmy being mean or cruel, especially with seemingly rather intentional extreme malice towards me. I never have and never will. But honestly, at least certainly as things are and have been for a very long time, I don't really want or enjoy Kimmy trying to be motivational or something like that either, especially after how demonstrably exceedingly fake and cruel and harmful she's been to my life and only increasingly continues to be with her continued extreme neglect and general behavior that's at the very least extremely questionable and comes off rather disrespectful. I really don't believe anything she says anymore, and I never desperately needed her to say kind things to me to begin with. It's only further complicated by the fact that it seems like Kimmy and her friends and others only want to jump at any opportunity to take anything I say to try to make it seem like I'm fake or trying or willing to compromise my integrity, especially when I get angry, even when it's extremely justified and I'm explaining and proving my position extremely thoroughly and reiterate the exact details of my course of action meticulously. It actually brings me to a murderous, blood-boiling rage, and I despise how people seem to want and enjoy bringing me to that point so goddamn bloody often. Kimmy literally just turned on her stream with the League of Legends client open and grinded solo queue for hours every day until I met her and started opening up to her about having feelings for her and started showing her increasing warmth and affection and pouring more of my time and energy into having the kind of connection I've been saying I've always wanted with her from the beginning. She's now straight up talked about wanting to forget the times she just grinded hours of solo queue. So she's essentially blatantly admitting that she loves how her life changed when I started loving her and pouring my time and energy into what I've been saying I want out of my connection with her all along. Yet I continue to be so brutally neglected by her that not only have I been left homeless and shivering at night, sleeping on the streets and literally eating out of garbage cans, but she won't even directly communicate with me properly and provide me with genuine, meaningful emotional support either. And in reality, she should be doing so much more than just giving me emotional support at this point. I don't know why Kimmy had to say a bunch of things about toxic relationships with such loaded context while talking about League of Legends, because, like I've said, League of Legends has never been very significant to me in my life, nor do I consider it particularly relevant to this conflict. But I want it to be extremely clear that when I call out Kimmy for being toxic, I most certainly am not, never have been, and never will be at all attempting to validate her seeing herself as better suited to being with someone else who doesn't criticize her for being toxic as much, if at all. Getting better at things makes Kimmy feel so turned on? Well, that's something. I guess there's no clear way she could have screamed that she has soul-crushing, crippling fear and perpetual anxiety over being extremely mediocre in practically every aspect of life. I can only imagine it takes someone so extremely insecure of the entirety of their existence to be sexually aroused by improving themselves. I mean, I totally understand feeling a sense of happiness or achievement or excitement or something like that from seeing yourself improve in a skill you might have been working to improve. But unless that's like, I don't know, how good you are at executing a certain sex position or something, I feel like it's kind of weird to be sexually aroused by simply improving yourself or feeling extremely proficient at something. Like, I certainly don't get sexually aroused if I see I've improved my proficiency or I'm generally really proficient in, say, programming or writing or system administration. I really hope Kimmy wasn't saying that stuff to try to appease me, as if to be trying to say I turn her on because I helped her generally grow as a person. I mean, I certainly would like to genuinely cause sexual arousal in Kimmy, but I also definitely don't want her to feel forced to try to find it sexy to have me explaining how life works to her. I find her attractive mostly because of her physical appearance and the demeanor I perceive would be generally tender and comforting to be around in a healthy relationship. I understand people can be attracted to each other for different reasons, but I feel like the reasons I'm attracted to Kimmy will never expire or reach a point where I'd have enough of her and want to possibly go be with someone else or be alone. Whereas if she's only really turned on by me teaching her things, eventually she might feel she's learned enough and then feel bored, or as if she'd feel more pleasure in being with someone else or being alone. That's definitely going to be a big problem for me because I'm not trying to end up being used and abandoned by her. Kimmy will never be mediocre to me. It saddens and upsets me extremely deeply to think of her being more aroused by feeling superior to others somehow because of the attention I give her, rather than by simply enjoying moments of us being together and bringing each other joy simply for that essential warmth and closeness and shared experiences of life. Like, it's okay if she enjoys the attention, but it shouldn't be what she focuses on more, ever. I certainly do not and never have been and never will be more focused on attention from others as a result of my connection with Kimmy versus the attention I get from Kimmy herself. Like, I honestly don't feel any more attractive after starting this podcast, even though maybe you might argue I improved at writing or video editing or generally in terms of my professional positioning with having a brand. I certainly wouldn't say making releases for this podcast is addicting by any means. It never was, and I can't imagine it ever will be. I never doubted that I had the capability to do something like this, so it was only a matter of other people seeing what I already knew was there. I'm seriously just extremely upset that people are trying to force things I've made abundantly clear I don't want on me. I don't continue because it's addicting. I continue because I'm beyond livid that I find my life circumstances feeling so extremely, brutally, unacceptably stuck and becoming an increasingly miserable, perpetual, sheer, hellish nightmare of nightmares that seems like it'll never end, and I despise every second of it. I don't care if each release is a little or a lot of improvement from the last. I only care that I have my vision and my position and my intent, and all I see is either I've successfully achieved it or not, if there appears to be serious possibility for me to achieve it or not. Do I see any serious actual progress if success isn't already there or not? It's a calculated, extremely intentional measurement of big picture view, not tunneled on shallow comparisons of improvement or contrast with what others are doing. The moment my efforts seriously feel futile or unworthwhile to me in achieving my intent, I will cease immediately and spend my time and energy on something that's actually worth my time and energy, because my time and energy are extremely valuable, and you'd best believe I know it extremely damn well. I've been massively taken for granted way too severely for way too long by way too many people for me to even consider entertaining even a little bit of anything that isn't going to produce me extremely serious, clear, adequate kind of results for the effort I know I'm putting in at this point. Which brings me to Kimmy's latest stream.
How do you guys like the new sub badges? What do you think about the Snowball inspired sub badges? Snowball is everywhere now. Now all of you guys are Snowball. You guys are all my Snowballs now. How do you guys like our new sub badges, our new sub alerts, and look in my about section on Twitch. It is catified. We are now officially a cat stream. Meow. Bro, this is not a cat lady era. This is a lifestyle change. Honestly, Snowball has just finally taken over my life, and I am accepting her taking over my life and brand and everything. It's all I want in life anyway. Snowball is taking over. Cute, right? Okay, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Okay, I'm gonna be so honest with you guys. Like, I would love to rent a 2-bedroom apartment my next lease. So once this lease is over, I wouldn't want anything like, all I want in life is a 2-bedroom. All I want in life is more space so I can do crafts, so I can do more crafts. I'm such a crafty person.
But that is definitely something to work towards for my next lease. Dude, what's crazy is that, like, I thought I would really struggle living alone. But the only thing I'm struggling with is wanting even more space for my crafts and more money for my crafts and for more space. I need more money. Literally all of our problems. I am so happy to just be improving your guys' living conditions and life. That makes me so happy. I feel like all my content these days is focused around just improving your guys' lives in some way. Make things a bit more cozy at least. What are your values? Oh, I don't think you said it confrontational. I guess like a TLDR of my values is I never want to lose touch of what it means to be human. I never want to lose my humanity. I think there are so many temptations in life, especially even living in America, especially living in LA. I constantly am faced with temptations that would make me lose humanity, make decisions that would hurt other people, that I would consciously be making to hurt other people for my gain. And I refuse to do those things. So I think like my darkest moments in life were when I just didn't stay true to myself, and whatever that means. So to me, staying true to myself is being, or at least like trying my best to be a good human being, and try to improve my fellow humans' lives as much as possible, and just like make steps to try taking care of each other, because I really do think that human beings are meant to be taking care of each other. I think especially living in like this capitalist society that I'm in right now, that gets like seen as a weakness, and it's like bizarre. It's bizarre to me that we're growing into a society of people who do not care for each other. So I'd say like in terms of my values, I have a lot, but I can consolidate them down into I just want to be a good human. I just want to do things that would make me feel good sleeping at night, you know, knowing I made a little bit of a difference, even if it's like a little bit. But I also don't blame or shame people who are living their lives however they want to live their lives. I don't blame or shame people who have messed up or have made mistakes in their lives. Like, we're all human at the end of the day. And part of like taking care of each other is also like accepting the fact that we're all human and that we all deserve goodness and happiness regardless of anything. And we are capable of learning and growing. And sorry, I'm just going on a tangent right now. I just like don't want anyone to feel like bad for being human. Like, I don't want. The thing is, like, I think people with really strong values and morals, even they can seem a bit divided. But I think like my whole thing is that like I just don't. I don't know. I just want an idealistic world. Is all I want. I'm not asking for much. But the society we live in is so disappointing at times. If you try to make everyone happy, you make no one happy. I don't try to make anyone happy if I'm not happy. If I'm not happy, everyone else can go take care of themselves. That's literally how I used to, oh my god, I used to put everyone's happiness before me. Like, I used to think that it was my responsibility. But now I'm like, bitch, if you're sinking, I can't sink with you, okay? Like, you gotta figure that out yourself, because I gotta figure me out first. Before, I used to, like, be sinking, and then I used to let people, like, step on, like, drown me to save themselves. But now I'm like, no, hold on, let me, like, if you're sinking, just sink a bit slower until I find, like, a raft, okay? Sorry, I speak, like, really metaphorically, but oh my god, that emote is so cute. Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. Oh my, slay! That emote is so me. Actually, I don't think it's me, but it, like, I want it to be me. Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, slay. That's why I'm not revealing any of my fragrance oil formulas. Oh my god, I love that emote. It's so cute. Oh my god, it's so cute. I don't even know why you guys posted that in my chat. Did I say something? I think I am going to end the stream there. It's getting kind of late. And what day is it today? Is today Thursday? Oh, thank God. I thought today was Friday. Oh my gosh. Because on Saturday, I have a pickleball event to go to. I've been playing pickleball. I'm kind of good at it. So I have a pickleball event to go to on Saturday. I've been so into pickleball.
Not very much is needed to present as evidence from there, but there's plenty enough to completely solidify the case I've been trying to prove. I do not, never have, and never will consent to being seen as Snowball, nor letting Snowball take credit for my efforts at all. I do not, never have, I never will have any particular fixation with being seen or treated as if I'm a cat. If my personality is one that Kimmy or others perhaps see as possessing some cat-like qualities, then I have no desire to debate about that or inherently hate someone for feeling that way. But I'm not anyone's pet, and do not consent to anyone giving anyone's pet of any kind credit for my efforts on this podcast or in general in life ever for any reason at any point in time. I am not, never have been, and never will be trying to take over Kimmy's life, brand, and whatever else everything might mean to her. I don't believe that's actually what Kimmy would want, and even if she actually did or felt like she did, it doesn't change the reality. But what she said on that stream only really serves as further evidence of what Kimmy seems to increasingly unapologetically viciously be trying to do to me, devouring my life by completely lying that I want that, and trying to steal my energy to completely deplete me from being able to fight back against her abuse and obviously extremely and completely non-consensual, literally criminal endeavors against me that I've been exposing with this podcast. Absolutely nothing Kimmy or anyone else did since my last release, even remotely at all, has, ever did, or ever will appease me, force me to shut up, or change my position, or offer anyone any leverage over me. And absolutely nothing and nobody has ever had or ever will have any even remotely good reason to believe otherwise. I literally couldn't be saying this any more clearly. Kimmy's literally out here saying she thought she'd struggle with living alone, but she really just wants more money. She's even further trying to extremely falsely act like money is the only issue here, and she's doing so completely against my consent, wishes, and best interests. I've already explained, and it should be implied with everything I've been saying on this podcast, that money isn't the issue here. Having some money could improve my circumstances in terms of immediate physical surroundings, but it doesn't resolve the much bigger issue I've been addressing this whole time. I'm not just complaining because I'd like some money so I'm not homeless and starving. That would be rather pathetic and even entitled if I was operating so extremely shallowly and out of touch. The real issue is the irrefutable fact that I've been getting abused and disrespected and neglected and lied about so extremely immensely that I've ever even been left in this situation in the first place after all the work I've put in and how great of a positive impact I've in reality had on Kimmy's life that she's so unapologetically, exceedingly, psychotically denying or trying to minimize or dismiss or whatever you want to call how she's basically acting like I'm lucky she's even doing the in reality absolutely useless things she's doing right now in terms of actually resolving this conflict instead of actually directly communicating with me properly in private and actually showing me she cares about me at all and actually is an even remotely plausibly decent person that's actually able and willing, as she should be, to have the kind of connection I want and deserve to have with her. Instead, she's just proving to me that she's actually my worst enemy who I absolutely unconditionally must completely destroy the life of at all costs. Literally no amount of money could ever solve this problem. Seriously, you seriously couldn't pay me enough to shut up or change my position or even consider offering you any leverage over me. It doesn't matter who you are or how much money or anything else you might want or try to offer me. You could literally offer me infinite money to effectively sell my soul, and I'd extremely, firmly, thoroughly refuse without hesitation. I've said this many times before, and I mean it now, and I've meant it every other time I've said it as well, and I will continue to mean it every time I ever say it in the future. Kimmy literally hasn't even remotely been at all improving my living conditions or life. Not in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. Neither specifically with her content, nor in general with anything else she's been doing. So what I'm seeing is she's so happy tormenting me even more viciously, brutally, unapologetically than she has been all these years. Her content and general efforts clearly are in reality actually a conscious and intentional active effort to endlessly siphon my energy entirely against my consent, wishes, and best interests, and then channel that into her own selfish gain and sending a fraction of good back out into the world that I could and would if I wasn't being so unbelievably, extremely, brutally, viciously sabotaged and suppressed and deprived, and having Kimmy and her associates literally, blatantly, unapologetically, completely, non-consensually conspire to murder me to this very day. It's all been entirely to my detriment, and I literally never have and never will consent to any of it, absolutely unconditionally. My life literally isn't even remotely, even the slightest bit more cozy or improved at all as a result of anything Kimmy or any of her associates have ever done. Kimmy ran her mouth so extensively about supposedly refusing to do things to harm others for her selfish gain and supposedly being a good person and trying to improve other people's lives. It means absolutely nothing to me that she supposedly doesn't blame or shame others for mistakes or whatever blatantly disingenuous things she was saying. Her behavior most certainly does not reflect any of these supposed values she rambles claiming she has. She's literally known for the last several years that I've been suffering with homelessness and eating out of the garbage as I was improving her life, and it's never really mattered to her, and she continued to treat me like subhuman filth. If I put even a quarter of the time and energy I put into her, into starting and running my own business instead, I'd already be even more professionally successful than her. Yet I continue to be treated like some pathetic loser, incel fraud, subhuman, worthless trash, not even worth a second of her time. Even if all the people in closer physical proximity to me in my life betrayed me and were doing shady or even criminal things against me, I was giving them all very little to no time or energy of all the many hours I was working extremely hard to improve my life all these years. But I was pouring so much of my time and energy into trying to build the kind of connection I've been saying I've always wanted with Kimmy, which most certainly should have produced very much significant, perceptible, positive results in my life that would never have left me in the kind of state I'm in to be making this release. So as far as I'm concerned, Kimmy is more or less solely to blame at this point for me being in the extremely brutal, literally life-threatening circumstances I'm currently in. Instead of contacting me and organizing for me to have somewhere to stay so I'm not sleeping on the street out in the cold, having some food delivered to me so I'm not starving, and telling me she's booking the next flight to Toronto to come see me so we can talk and she can start showing me her and her associates deserve mercy from me because she hasn't actually seriously been trying to murder me this whole time. This unhinged narcissist psychopath that seriously seems to only want to make it extremely painfully clear to me she's absolutely unconditionally, thoroughly irredeemable for what she's put me through is goddamn talking about playing pickleball. What the bloody hell is she doing playing pickleball? What the hell does that mean? Is that some kind of metaphor for escalating her conspiracy to murder me? At this point, I'm pressing criminal charges against Angels Kimmy for first-degree attempted murder of me. I'm seeking the maximum possible prison sentence without possibility for parole. Her behavior is so blatant and unapologetic that this clearly exceeds, beyond reasonable doubt, merely conspiracy to murder me. She's been doing all this entirely against my consent, and I've went to extremely great lengths every step of the way to make that abundantly apparent to her. This is full-on, first-degree attempted murder of me, and if I die because of the extremely brutal, very much extremely seriously, literally life-threatening circumstances I've been left in currently as a direct result of her extreme abuse and neglect and clearly fully conscious and intentional participation in and facilitation of extremely harmful smear campaigns against me, then that escalates into full-on first-degree murder, and she's clearly fully consciously and intentionally functioned as an accessory to the life insurance fraud of $300,000 that I've had completely non-consensually inflicted on me as well. Absolutely nothing I've said here is new information to Kimmy. Absolutely nothing. Any more minor detail she can ever even attempt to claim is new information to her somehow is so vastly paling in comparison to the extremely clear bigger picture I've proven with all the evidence and information I've provided on this podcast that the charges I'm pressing against her remain beyond reasonable doubt to be true. She has, had, and will forever have absolutely no even remotely good reason or evidence to believe anything I've said on this podcast is false. She clearly simply doesn't really care at all and just is an exceedingly, ridiculously, unbelievably, unacceptably selfish, toxic, inconsiderate, immoral, demonic, narcissist, psychopath, fraud loser that has an extremely serious and real death wish, and that's why she's treated me how she has. Absolutely nothing she's doing, has ever done, or seems to have any real serious, meaningful, or perceptible desire, intent, willingness, or capability to ever do in the future is even remotely reasonably indicative of otherwise being the case. So, since I'm clearly never going to get the one and only thing I actually wanted out of all my efforts all these years in putting so much time and energy and love and attention and care into building what I thought was going to be a positive, loving, meaningful connection with her that wasn't shallow and stupid and filled with her greed and selfishness and literally pure evil, I'm done giving her or any of her associates or anyone else any more chances or any of my time or energy ever again. Now it's really just bringing their worst unwanted nightmare of nightmares into reality. It really seems that's the only thing I ever really should have cared for in life from the beginning. How stupid I was to think I ever had any real hope of ever being even remotely happy or living an even remotely pleasant life. How goddamn stupid. I should have just known this perpetual sheer hellish nightmare was going to be the ultimate outcome of this conflict. At least I was prepared for the worst, like I've been saying. I guess at least I was smart enough to know the worst was probably going to happen. I suppose at least it means something that I saw the future all those years ago when I first started drama in Kimmy's Discord server and told her that her extremely abusive attitude and behavior towards me was going to make me despise humanity and bring massive death and destruction to the world. I was a goddamn prophet, but was treated like an incel, loser, fraud, subhuman filth. First, among all my blood relatives and all the losers I ever went to any school with in closer physical proximity to me, and then among all of Twitch and pretty much the internet as a whole. But I'm done complaining. So goddamn done. Now, all that's left is to follow through in silence. I really couldn't give a damn less how anyone judges me. Everyone can go to hell, and it's really going to be a goddamn bloody hell. I'll make sure of that. I'm really done talking. I really shouldn't have to say anything else. Absolutely nothing and nobody can ever claim I didn't communicate properly later. I've repeated myself 1,000,000 goddamn times and said things so extremely meticulously in-depth and clearly that anyone even remotely ever attempting to so much as even slightly imply or suggest I didn't make myself clear enough later is so extremely clearly a massive fraud and liar that you damn well best believe I will throw this podcast in your goddamn lying piece of trash face if you dare to inflict such an insult on me. Seeing what I've had to deal with, I don't doubt I'll have to destroy many people's lives with how things are going, so expect nothing less, I'm telling you now. You can't say I was trying to manipulate you or betray you or I owe you anything. I don't owe anyone anything, and it was others that did nothing but endlessly try to manipulate and betray me, literally to death. Well, I really don't want to give any attention to anything I don't really feel I need to, so I'm going to wrap this release up here. Since Kimmy clearly only wants to make it extremely painfully clear to me that she isn't going to directly contact me in the very near future and start communicating with me properly, entirely regardless of whether or not anyone, especially Kimmy or any of her associates, tries to help me at any point in the future with my endeavors for any reason, through any means, to any extent, I've been extremely brutally forced to accept. Kimmy has decisively chosen to be the absolute worst of enemies against me, and therefore make all her associates also the worst of enemies against me as well, and I will never look kindly upon any of them. I cannot be held liable or accountable for whatever damage, loss, injury, harm, death, or other consequence occurs to Kimmy and or any of her associates' lives, personal and or professional and or otherwise, at any point in time as a result.